So back in December of 2016, we had developed a prototype, and we finally had a few units out, and I just decided to give it to some of my friends that I went to school with, and it's like, you know what, try this, run the protocols that I've kind of come up with, and let me know. And a lot of them just said, hey, you got something here. So that was early December. So I was like, okay, I'm going to leave my practice. January 1st, so I was going to leave my practice. At that point, I had given a machine to Ethan Banning, and you've seen some of his posts, and he gelled with it so well, and he just loved using it, and he saw the same results I did. So I said, okay, here you go. I'm going to give my practice to you. I will refer all my patients to you. You have to buy a machine because they won't come to you if you don't have that machine. So sure enough, he decided to jump ahead. January, he started his practice. So he's doing great now, and I'm always in touch with him. So, you know, that's my why. That's the story why I decided to start this company. You know, I can go out and share my experiences with other practitioners, have them try the unit out for themselves, run the protocols, and then decide whether they saw the same things I did. So, you know, it's early on, May now. It's only been 5 months, and the response has been awesome. There are some, I kind of know which practitioners it will gel with. You have to have kind of an open mind to just try. If you're not willing to try and you're stuck in your old ways, it's going to take a lot of effort for you to really change your practice. And what I tell people is, like, you know what, don't give up with the techniques you're doing. If you add this, all your techniques will start to be a lot better, because we're working on the cell level. If you can charge that cell, then whatever you do after that, the body will respond a lot faster. So how I did it, when I didn't know anything, I didn't know it would work. I just basically tried it out on a few patients. A little bit of my treatment side was guided PMF, and then I would use ART, Graston, rehab, all the other techniques I used. And then the reports came back. The patients said, yes, I'm better. It's great. So I started to actually use more and more guided PMF, and all my other stuff, all the hard digging in ART stuff, kind of I pushed that back, and a lot of my patients only got guided PMF, and you know, it just did the job so much better. But you know, I tell my practitioners, you have to have confidence in the product, to be able to, you know, to be able to use it in your practice, and that only comes with time. You have to dedicate some time to learn the protocols and to experiment with your patients, and you know, I think people will see great things. A lot of the practitioners that have started using it, it's like they come back with unbelievable stories, and that's what makes my, you know, why I'm doing it so worthwhile, is because other practitioners see it, and it's easy to do, but you just have to dedicate your time to learn it and to trust it. So you know, basically do a little bit of guided PMF along with your other stuff, but we've kind of found you do have to extend your treatment. You know, they're usually in the 15 to half hour range. If they're really chronic, you have to use more, because basically a person comes into you, and if you're a bad battery, you got to charge it up. It takes longer to charge that cell up, you know, whereas if you're healthy, you're younger, your battery system's good, and it only takes a couple of charges, and you'll see the results just like that. On the chronic people, it will take a little bit more time. So I developed these protocols. I observed these things. As you guide it in, healthy tissue is going to twitch a lot better than unhealthy tissue. You know, younger people, younger, healthy, muscular people, their muscles twitch way more violently than somebody who's 70, 80 years old, who's in, you know, bad nutritionally, bad, you know, electrolyte balance, minerals, because minerals, they carry that charge. So essentially, it is like you can actually, as you start to guide that PEMF in somebody, you can actually see how healthy they've been, or what they've done throughout their life. You know, for example, I had one lady, she was in her 80s, and I would kind of rub her neck, and most people will twitch, and she did not twitch at all. It took about three treatments to get a slight twitch. And I asked her, I was like, well, what have you been doing all your life? So she only drank Dr. Pepper. And I was like, what? You only drink Dr. Pepper? Because no water, nothing. So, and it shows in the health of the tissues. So, you know, we got her into, you know, Himalayan sea salt and to drink more water, because if you don't have those salts in your system, you cannot carry that or store that charge. So yeah, I mean, these are the things I noticed. So then we came up with protocols of how to check myotomes. You know, if you find an area that's deficient, you need to stay in that area. You compare it with the good side. You know, say somebody comes in with right leg pain. You check the myotomes on the right and the left. It's totally different. And you can show a patient, hey, this is not normal. It should feel like your good side. And from then, the patient realizes that they can see their foot moving or not move. And as you progress through treatment, they'll tell you, hey, I start to feel more. Oh, my foot is starting to move more. So that's what's so cool about it. We have the diagnostic part of guided PEMF, where the other PEMF systems, where, you know, whether you lay on a mat or you have the coil, you're kind of guessing. But with guided PEMF, you can actually go through the tissues and feel where you need to push that energy through. So that's what's so unique about it. But you know, I'm trying to explain this to practitioners, and sometimes they get it and they just really gel with it, and sometimes it's a lot harder for them to understand. And I'm like, you just have to do it and practice. As you practice, your sense of touch starts to improve. You know, whether, you know, we started doing these 30-day trial periods, you know, some practitioners would get it right off the bat, and they would text me with these amazing testimonials they've had with their patients. And then some, if I don't hear from them, it's a little tougher. They're in their mind, they're trying to explain and trying to, you know, maybe it's an expectation, and I try to tell them, hey, don't expect anything. Just go in there with a blank slate, run the protocols, and then have the patient tell you whether they feel a difference or not. So depending on the practitioner, it's a little tougher for others. Some people, when they're into that energy world, which I was never a part of that energy world, I was a very physical body, you know, ART, Graston, working out and all that stuff, and my mind would not be, you know, in that world. So I completely changed. You know, if you go through the research and you search for that stuff, it is proven research, but it's not really out there. You got to dig a little deeper. If you Google PEMF, you'll find some great research in there. So, you know, that's, you know, where we're at right now. We did decide to switch things up with Gen 2. You know, making some tweaks on the machine. So we're actually working really fast. It's only been 5 months. You know, I listened to some of the practitioners. They wanted the unattended mode, whereas